One of my hobbies, and you will not be surprised, is to watch cooking videos on YouTube. And I always find it fascinating how countries will embrace a dish or specific recipe from a different culture, from a different country. And of course, Italy, being one of the leading countries in terms of food, is often what people base the recipes on. And I think it's quite nice actually that many people will have their own interpretation of recipes, and they do things differently. Especially Germany, for example, I see lots of people from Germany making food content, and they call it Italian cooking, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And they have got their own interpretation of a dish. And one thing that I've noticed is how often they cook the pasta, and often they use some ready-made sauce, and they pour it on top of the pasta when it's uncooked, and then they place it in the oven. I absolutely detest the comments, often coming from Italians, unfortunately, who say, "Oh, that's wrong, it's disgusting," and so on. And I always say, "Well, have you tried it?" And that is what I want to try today. I want to try and cook something using one of those methods to see if it really makes a difference. So I'm doing a pasta bake, and I will be meat-based, using some pork and some lamb, a recipe which you will be interested. But I will try and cook the pasta from without boiling it effectively and putting it in the oven. And if you think about it, actually lasagna has already set a precedent, because you can buy fresh lasagna, which is very soft, but also you can buy lasagna which is hard durum, and you do your layers of lasagna with the lasagna when it's uncooked. So I can see that to an extent there is already a principle which exists, so it's not really that uncommon, I would guess. But I will be honest with you, I've never attempted doing anything like this rather than using lasagna in the past, so it's a first for me. But in the spirit of trying and learning, I want to give it a shot. So I'm just put together some soffritto using a chopped onion, carrots and some celery, and also just added a clove of garlic, all in olive oil, and I'll move to the hob. Pork and lamb together in a pasta sauce, it is a very interesting combination, because they are both very flavorful meat and quite fatty as well, so they release a lot of flavor in your tomato sauce. Also, the herbs that you can use with both type of meat are very similar, and they complement each other. Also, with Christmas coming, it's a great opportunity to do a little tidying up in the freezer. So I've defrosted a small joint of lamb which was left from another meal, and also I'm using a couple of pork chops. And I sliced everything roughly the same size, about 1.5 centimeter cubes, or maybe an inch if you look at the lamb, thereabout. So my soffritto has been going on for about 5 minutes, and I can add all of my chopped meat in it next. Turn the temperature up and I'll mix it together, and I'll wait until all of my meat has browned up. This is the last of some dry white wine, and I'm going to add it, about half a glass. Wait until the alcohol element from the wine evaporates, and I'll start by adding some shop purchased tomato passata first. This is my own homemade tomato passata. Oh god, there you go. And I will add that also, and I'm going to fill this with water now, because I want to make this sauce fairly liquidy, because I will be of course using the hard durum pasta, and I will need to be liquidy, as I said before. There we go, and I'll pour some in here also. I can go in, give it a little shake, and add this also. And I'll start adding some herbs next, and I will be using 4 types. Rosemary first, because rosemary is universal. It goes well with pork and it goes well with lamb. Then I'm going to add some mint, and this is specifically addressing the lamb in terms of the meat. And again, I will not be adding a lot, just enough to give it the adequate flavor. Reference pork. In Sicily, they use fennel a lot to marinate pork, so I'll be adding a little fennel to complement specifically my pork, not a lot, just a little pinch. And then as I'm making tomato sauce, I will be using oregano so that everybody's happy. But of course oregano can be very overpowering, so do not put a lot in. And the sauce is beginning to boil. I'll mix it together like this. I chopped the meat in relatively small cubes, as you saw, so it will not need to cook for a very long time for it to become tender. I'll place the lid on and I'll turn it on a simmering position, medium there, and I will leave it for 1 hour. I'll see you then. Almost there with the sauce, so I'll get some cheese ready. This is cheddar, extra mature cheddar. I know it's not very Italian, but it's delicious, so why not? I'm cutting a few slices. One thing I do like to ensure whenever I make a pasta bake is that I put plenty of cheese. I think it's the signature of any delicious pasta bake. This is mozzarella. I'm going to use a couple of balls of fresh mozzarella. And I finish my cheese preparation with some grated grana padano or parmigiano or pecorino. Use anything you like. And again, as I often say, these are very subjective choices. This is what I've got in the fridge today. I always try to use, of course, parmigiano or grana or pecorino, but then the choice of other cheeses, entirely up to you, really. I don't think it really matters as long as you cook something that you like. And if that is the case, you might be wondering if this is not an authentic Sicilian or Italian recipe. And I think all recipes are authentic, depending on the interpretation of authentic. In Sicily especially, you will find that they will call the same recipe, same name across the entire region of Sicily, but it will differ. People might put ham, some people might put sausages, some people might put different type of cheese, but they will call it pasta al forno. And I think it's very confusing sometimes to think what really authenticity means. To me, it means cooking something which is genuine, but also authentic. There is pasta, there is tomato, and that in itself is the base of authenticity. Anything else you add, clearly you make it authentic to your own. Well, authentic or not authentic, I can guarantee you that this pasta sauce smells tremendous. The smell is all over the kitchen. It's absolutely wonderful. And let's take a look. Oh yes. I'm going to remove this rosemary now, as I don't need it anymore. But before I continue, it's the law, I have to try some. I think this is a piece of lamb. Very hot. Oh, so tender, so delicious, but so hot. Really, really nice. You don't have to do the way I'm going to do, by the way. You can still cook your pasta before you put it together and then you carry on, or don't put it in in the oven, just do a normal pasta dish. You can use this sauce in any way you like. It's really, really flexible. Time to move into new ground. So here's my pasta. I'm going to use spirali today, which is spirals effectively. No particular reason, by the way. I just wanted some short pasta, so I went under the States and I found those and I thought, why not? And I started by adding a little sauce to my pasta, and this is exactly what I would do if this was partly cooked, by the way. Here is my oven dish. Put a little layer of sauce at the very bottom. I'm going to add half of my pasta. Just like if I was making normal pasta bake, I'll distribute it evenly. Here's my cheese station, and I'll place all of the cheddar in the middle, followed by some grana and some of the mozzarella. Rest of the pasta goes in. I have to be really honest, I'm quite excited to see what this is going to be like. Ooh, hot, better get my gloves. I'm dead keen to see what the outcome will be. So I will add first a little bit more of my sauce, and I'm going to use the liquid stuff first. Actually, there isn't a lot left anyway, so I'll put the rest in. I was thinking that maybe I could have kept some for another day, but it all can go in. I'll spread it once again, making sure that it's nice and compact, and I'll top it up with the remainder of my mozzarella first, making sure that I cover as much of the surface of my dish as possible, and I'll finish by sprinkling my grana on top, just like this. Again, just like a normal pasta bake. Perfect. I think I'm gonna need some kitchen foil next. And I think this is going to be even more important as I don't want it to dry up too much. I just turn the oven on. I'll wait until it gets to temperature 180 degrees, just like a normal lasagna. 200 if you got a normal conventional oven. Mine is fan assisted. And I will leave it in the tin foil for 20 minutes, and then I'll have a look. But the likelihood is that I will be removing for the last 15 minutes, and then you'll get a beautiful golden crust on top. So total cooking time 35 minutes. See you then. Here it is, look, really good. So let me give you an update. After 20 minutes I removed the kitchen foil, and I noticed that the pasta at the very top was still a little bit too hard, but the one at the bottom was well on the way. So I did two things. I went with a fork and pressed the top layer down so that it would be covered by sauce once again. But also I placed the kitchen foil back on, and I extended the first part by 10 minutes. So it was in the oven for a total of 30 minutes with the kitchen foil on top. And then, as previously mentioned, remove the kitchen foil for the last 15 minutes. And this is what it looks like. So total cooking time 45 minutes, and I have to say it looks pretty good and it smells wonderful. I'll just leave it to rest for a few minutes as it is too hot to do anything with it, and then I'll test some. And it has actually cooked very nicely, as it is nice and dense, and I can put my knife through perfectly okay. And there we go. Let's have a look. Oh, it's looking very good. It is still steaming hot, but I can't wait. Honestly, it's wonderful. I have to say, I will be totally honest. If it's not because I cooked it, I would have not known that it's been cooked differently. The only thing I'll say is a little bit starchier, if there is such a word, because clearly when you're cooking the pasta in water, a lot of the starches get released in the water and then you lose the water, whereas here you're trapping everything inside your pasta. But it's really nice. I am genuinely surprised how similar it is, and it feels creamier on the tongue, so it's really good. I'm really pleased. I definitely recommend that you try. Will I do it again? Definitely. Do I like it? Definitely. Will Julie love it? Absolutely. I'm sure you will. So that was to show really that although I love traditional food and traditional recipes, but sometimes there is nothing wrong in trying something new, and clearly it works. Make it. You will love it. Thank you for watching, and see you later. Buon appetito. Ciao ciao.